So this class is called Making Architecture, but it does raise a very important first question. What does the architect do? Now, in many cases, the architect doesn't design buildings at all. I think sometimes in popular culture, the figure of the architect is oversimplified. And in fact, what's more distinctive about the architect than what he or she does is how he or she thinks. So I'm going to give you a little anecdote here, and I think it's a funny one. I'll let you be the judge of that. Now, this is when I was in architecture school. I had just started, and where I studied, there was a cafeteria, a little coffee house below the design studio. So we would go down there in the middle of the day, and I remember standing in line behind one of my professors, and there he was, shaved head, chunky glasses, dressed in black. It does happen. And I remember him going up to the front of the cafeteria, and the person behind the desk saying, "What kind of coffee would you like?" Long pause. "What kind of coffee do you have?" he said. And the person behind the counter said, "We have French roast and we have hazelnut." Another long pause. And he says, "French roast, because it's not a flavor, it's a process." Now, if that's funny to you, you probably are already an architect and you're wearing glasses like this and a black jacket like me. If it just seems odd to you, wait until you finish this class. Because there's something about that story, being able to distinguish between the value of a process and a flavor, right? Looking at something as simple as the flavor of coffee as a choice that has a deeper significance. And a certain odd perspective, perhaps, that some of us architects share. But there's something in that perspective, that way of looking at the world, that is particular to an architect. So if we ask the question, what does the architect do? I think that might not be the right question. The question might be, how does the architect think? And if we answer that question, looking at what the architect does, well, that's easy. An architect does what a person who thinks like an architect would do. And it's really quite simple. So let's get into it. How does the architect think?